Hey, it's Anfa, and I'm coming with another Liber audio software releases, or rather an update about these. If you watched yesterday's and 2 days before live streams, I'm covering releases covered by the quarterly release Pact, which is an initiative among the Liber/Linux audio software community to release more often. Basically, some pieces of software get releases like once a year, and when you're using that and you see that the latest update was a year ago or sometimes 2 years ago, you're thinking, maybe I should start using something else because, I don't know, the developer is dead or the project is dead. Maybe it's not a good idea to use this. So if you're gonna release, like, you know, every 3 months, then the users know you're there. More people will find out because buzz is happening, like I'm doing the buzz right now, right here. And also, well, the software gets better. So yeah, and I've missed 2 releases last time, so now I'm gonna correct that. And also there's 4 more that happened since yesterday, so I'm gonna cover that. And just, let's do this thing here. Okay, so what I missed before was a new release of the X42 Plugins Bundle, and that was on 14th. These are plugins by Robin Garrius, who is the second full-time developer of Ardor, along with Paul Davis, the original author. So let's see what's going on. He says that there's dozens of fixes across the different plugins. Maybe let's just go to the homepage and see what's there. All right, so what we have here is a meter collection. If you don't know X42 plugins, these are really nice, especially the metering plugins. So you see that they are listed as there is a license you need to buy. However, there are unofficial builds available in pretty much all the Linux distributions, which are completely legal and free to get. And also you can just download the source code and build them yourself. So I just use them from the repositories, and I really like them, especially the EBU meter, which is based on a butterfly meter, which is a popular plugin to measure your loudness units or loudness units full scale. This is very useful for mastering and making sure your levels are fine. I see Rob Vandenberg says the new compressor is cool. Oh, is there an X42 compressor? There is an X42 compressor. Let's see, there's an equalizer, there's a whirl speaker, digital peak limiter. I've been actually using this a bit. You see, some of them have this free gratis tag. That means that the official binaries are not paid. So yeah, the digital peak limiter is cool. Autotune is awesome. And I'm using this a lot to either check my vocals or sometimes fix them. And it's a really useful plugin. It's also great for special effects, like, you know, turning your voice into a synthesizer-like sound. If you wrote in an additional MIDI input, and you can then play on a keyboard and force the notes to be like pitched, force your voice to be pitched to the notes you play. It's really cool. I've been making tutorials about this before. Convolution. Okay, this is super simple. Actually, this is so simple. I don't think it's actually useful, because like you can just load the file and that's it. You don't have any settings. But for this very simple impulse response convolution, that's also cool. And what else? What else? There's a compressor. Oh yeah, there's a compressor. DARC, dark. That's the thing. Okay, so the X42 compressor, is it among the free plugins? Let me check. Yes, it's among the free plugins. Okay, like all of them are open source, but not all of them are completely free to get. And the cool thing about this X42 compressor is that with one knob you can get loudness, because it I don't know if it's correct. It applies auto makeup gain. So if you like lower the threshold or increase the ratio, it automatically increases the makeup gain, so you get louder sound, which is what usually we use compressors for. So it's like gives you an edge by being a little bit faster than other compressors. And also it's like, I really like the UI actually. I think it's very clean and the graph is nice and big, and yeah, this is very good. This is nice. I'm not using it much just because I never got used to using it, but it's a nice compressor. Yeah, I remember I used it on Windows when I had to do some work on Windows and I was using Ardor there, and I just had no other compressor plugins there. So X42 Comp came in handy because it's also available for Windows and Mac. So yeah, yeah, that covers the X42 update. Next thing I forgot to mention in the first update, because that was already like before 15, so that was even before the quarter day that was like planned, and that's distro ports. What these are is various plugins that FolkTX, also known as Felipe Coelho, has ported that were into LV2 or into his distro plugin framework. So he made like a, I don't know if it's a version of Juice or a fork of Juice that's okay, maybe I shouldn't speak about this because I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a developer, I'm not working with this. There's distro plugin framework created by Felipe Coelho or FolkTX, and he also ported many various open source plugins into this distro plugin framework. So we have it available in LV2 and not just, you know, VSTs for Windows or even Linux VSTs. But like using VSTs on Linux is like meh. I would much prefer, and I always prefer to use LV2 versions whenever possible. That's why I'm kind of not making videos about Surge still, because there's some issues with the Surge LV2. Let's see the changelog maybe, because there's some fixed things. Added high-res-sam, refine, and temper plugin ports. Oh, nice. So temper is no longer its separate plugin. Yeah, let's just go to the homepage and let's see what we have there. By the way, you don't need this keyboard thing. So these are all the ports that FolkTX has made. Dext is one amazing synthesizer plugin. It's a near perfect emulation of Yamaha DX7, and it's also a perfect like tool/companion for DX7 because it lets you make patches with a nice GUI and then upload them via sysx to your actual physical DX7 and also download them and like store your patches and organize them. I don't know. I don't own a synthesizer, this physical synthesizer, but if you do, Dext is a must-have. Or at least that's what I've been told. And also, it's very nice. It's a very nice FM synthesizer, though because DX7 was weird. It's also weird, but it's not as weird as a real DX7. Like, I had an opportunity to work with a physical DX7 at time, and trying to program anything on that screen was not going to happen. So Dext is way better in this regard, and the sound is almost the same. We have a bunch of DRAW audio plugins. I remember there's some reverbs, and there's also some a wave shaper. Juice OPL is a synthesizer emulating some classic FM game sounds. Juiced plugins, blah, blah, blah. Clankfalter. Clankfalter is a very nice convolution reverb. You can load in IR files and apply some processing and various things, modify it a bit, and make your reverb. Lufticus is a graphical EQ, which boasts that it has nice analog modeling in it. Honestly, I can't hear the difference when I use it. Maybe the difference is that if you drive really hot signals through it, then it starts to saturate. I haven't actually tested that. And probably a lot of the analog modeling is about making signals saturate when you make them too loud. And it didn't occur to me. Like, I expect to have some coloration. I don't know. Maybe I'm just deaf. I don't know. I never worked with analog gears. I never worked with a tape machine, so I am not used to hearing these kind of stuff. So yeah, only when it's really obvious I can tell if it's doing anything. But it might be something cool for you. Mverb, yay, you know Mverb. OBXD, I made some videos about OBXD, actually one video. It's an emulation of Oberheim X, I believe. And it can make some really cool, very analog sounding patches, fat sounds. Pitch delay is a very weird plugin because it combines a delay and a pitch shifter, and you can have like your delay taps being pitch shifted down, 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 or up, up, up. And it can create some really cool, weird effects. Stereo source separator is pretty freaking unique because it takes a stereo signal and lets you pick what direction you want to listen to. And it tries to separate the sound that, for example, comes from the left or the right. And it lets you choose the width. There's also some filter. You can low pass or high pass this. And sometimes if you have like multiple noisy sources that are stereo recordings, you can use this. I used this before to like try and extract a cleaner signal, try to reject all the environment noise if you have a stereo signal. The results are varied, but it's a really cool tool and it's good to have. Tal plugins, Tal Noisemaker is one of them. There's many more. Vex is a very simple synthesizer. Volpentiger is weird. I don't see the Temper plugin. Maybe it's not added yet. And okay, Refine is here. High Resam also isn't there. Okay, I've been using High Resam on my streams. Let's see what is this Refine then. Refine is a plugin that allows you to find final polishing of the tracks, buses, and masters. It extracts psychoacoustic parameters from the source and thus allows to add warmth, space, and punch to your mixes. This is done level dependent and rather subtle. You probably won't be able to create heavy distortion effects with this plugin. Okay, so this is some subtle processing, psychoacoustic processing. I don't know. Okay, I know LKBG is doing some plugins. There's more plugins by him. Alrighty. Not much to see here. We could find Temper. Maybe we can find Temper. Temper distortion. Yeah, so Temper is a plugin by Creative Intent, and they open sourced it. It's pretty interesting. I like it. Sometimes it really does a great job at providing you either with subtle saturation or extreme fuzz. And yeah, I've been using it. It's nice. So it's good to have it in KX Studio. I'm not sure if they changed the UI a bit because this sound, it looks like different to what I've been using. Okay, so this supposedly came into KX Studio releases, I guess, or distro plugin ports, which are part of the KX Studio repository, so I guess we'll see them there. All right, so these were all the plugins, the plugin releases I missed the previous time, and now to some new ones that appeared yesterday or today or, oh, even a bit later. Jack Mixer got a new release. I think I used this one time. It's a pretty simple program where you can create channels and buses and basically manage audio levels with a standalone application. So for something like I do when I have a live streaming setup, I can route my microphones in here, different program inputs, and manage the levels live. I actually use non-mixer for that. So Jack Mixer is not something I use, but I have used it before, and it's good to have an alternative because sometimes, you know, you'll find that one program doesn't work for you for some reason, and you need an alternative. There's GuitarX 2 having a new release. Whoa, they added NSM support. Well, it looks like after the new session manager breakthrough, we've got a lot of software adding support for it. It's like, for some reason, the non-session manager was not seeing adoption. I don't know why that is, or maybe I do, but I can't tell you. Never mind. Let's not dwell on that. Added Slovak translation, added MIDI out and low-high cut filter detuner. Disable GXY because it's broken, and that's a good idea. Disable things that are broken. If you don't know Guitarix, I've made one video about it, and this is not the page I would want. Guitarix is guitar emulation, guitar effects, amplifier, and other things. And hey, it turns your computer into a stomp box. And looks like they have some updates. Not sure what they listed the changes here. Okay, another one is Z-Rhythm 0.8.694. I've just installed a version of Z-Rhythm, some version of Z-Rhythm from source. I think it's this one. If you don't know what's Z-Rhythm, Z-Rhythm is a emerging digital audio workstation that's open source, and it's pretty much focused on electronic music production. So I hope it to become like the best of both LMMS and Ardor, where LMMS has some pretty decent and fast MIDI workflow, but it has bad plugin support, poor mixing capabilities, and it's overall quirky and the UI is antiquated. And Ardor having awesome mixing and audio capabilities, but the MIDI being a bit crippled, and hopefully having the best parts of both to be connected into a new open source DAW. I recently found on the Z-Rhythm forum a post where the author, LXT, was asked why he created Z-Rhythm, and I remember he said something like, well, I can't stand using Ardor, so I said I need to write my own DAW. So that's that. And I've been experimenting with Z-Rhythm. I've been trying to use it. It's still alpha. It's still unstable. It crashes. It I recently tried a little bit of live jamming with B Jumbler, which is a very cool plugin I want to make a tutorial about soon. And the jam was cool, but it ended with this crashing. Actually, you might want you'll find my quotes on the website, and I believe also there is there could be this video I made somewhere. I don't know where. Yeah, okay, can't find it. Never mind. Let's not boast about this. Let's stop bragging and get going. All right, so that's Z-Rhythm by Alexandros Theodotou, or LXT in short. The next thing is Muse 3.1.1. And Muse is a MIDI sequencer, MIDI audio sequencer, aiming to be a complete multi-track virtual studio for Linux. So again, something like Ardor or like Z-Rhythm, though different. And I must tell you, I have not checked out Muse in a long, long while, because it looks kind of dated. But also, it looks like it can do stuff. So maybe I should not be looking at the fact that it looks a little bit old school, and try it. I don't know. Probably if you're into Qtractor, you would not have trouble picking it up. I don't know. It looks a bit similar to Qtractor to me. I haven't used Qtractor too much. All right, so it's good to know that Muse exists and is still being developed, because I thought it's like haven't seen any development in ages. Same as a Rhodes Garden, which is a MIDI sequencer, a very old one, and I don't know if it's developed at all. But no, Muse 3.1.1 has been released. So yeah, mostly bug fix release following 3.1.a. Number of small and bigger bugs have been squashed. All right, and the final one we'll cover is Python RTMedia 1.4.2. I have no idea what that is. It says it's a Python binding. Python bindings for the cross-platform MIDI I/O library, RTMedia. Added more helpful analysis for media events, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's a programming tool by Christopher Arndt. And Chris is an active member of the community, and he's organized, for example, the open source FM music synthesizer challenge. Or no, I'm saying it wrong. Sorry. He organized a challenge that I took part, and that was that the last Sonic convention? I don't remember. Maybe it was. I think it was the one before. Yeah, it was 2018. By the way, a Sonic convention is cancelled this year, unfortunately, due to the COVID situation not being contained. Yeah, that was to be expected, but it's a sad news. Rob Vandenberg says about that about that open source FM synthesizer challenge music that Chris organized. Rob says, which you won, Anfa. Yes, rub it in. Thanks. Oh, yeah, because Rob also took part in this challenge. I really like this track, by the way. And Nils Hilbricht says, also, Chris is doing this release site update. So Chris himself is managing this website, this quarterly release Pact website, and he's adding these releases in. So big thanks for that, Chris. Alrighty, I can't tell you anything about Python RTMedia because I'm not programming music stuff in Python because I'm an artist, not a music programmer, not a programmer. All right, so that covers it. I think this was a bit longer than I expected because I got sidetracked into different things. Let me know if you like this kind of videos, which are live streamed and not scripted and not rehearsed and not edited and just machine gunned at you. Yeah, I hope to be doing more of that because it helps overcome block and trouble just getting 5 hours to record and edit something decent. So I'll make non-decent stuff instead. No. Actually, I wanted to make an Ardor MIDI tutorial. I'm writing a script for a comprehensive... Maybe I can even show you. So yeah, that's my script. And the thing is, I run into some bugs. So one bug, and the second bug was a killer bug. So I'm waiting for that to be fixed. I've reported some bugs today, and I thought, well, it doesn't make sense for me to right now make this MIDI tutorial because, like, you don't want to have a tutorial and say, okay, there's a bug in this software, so right now it doesn't work. Like, let's wait until it's fixed, and then I'll make a tutorial. And if it's not fixed in like month, then I'll make a tutorial and say it's bugged anyway. To really, yeah, because. I hope to be making more videos about Z-Rhythm as it's developing and getting more stable, and I'm playing with it. So hopefully I'll be using it in tutorials, and yeah, it's great to see it develop because it's a new and exciting thing, and I hope it can avoid some pitfalls that other pieces of software have fallen into and avoid some troubles and maybe manage to stay like connected with its audience. And like it's good that Z-Rhythm is focused on electronic music, but it also wants to provide a full DAW experience with, you know, non-destructive audio editing and such. So from what I've read from Alex, he's not like focusing on being as great for recording multi-track audio. Like if you want to record a whole concert, 2 hours of audio on 32 tracks, then probably it might not be optimized for that. But we'll see, it's developing. Yeah, all right, that's it. Z-Rhythm, the new hope. Yeah, kind of true. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you found out about some new cool software and maybe got inspired to check it out. Yeah, and also big thanks to all the people who are supporting my work financially. If you, dear viewer, would like to join them and help keep this show going or keep me making videos and live streams, please go to patreon.com/anfa or liberapay.com/anfa, or you can give me $1 or $2 for a coffee, which I run out of. Yeah, that's all. Go and grab some software and make some music with it. Bye. I should prepare a real end screen for this because it's not good. I need an end screen for these streams.